information. This is the one I'm talking about here. You think you're looking here? And then, so we started the year, because I even had Brooke print me out what I used to call the hot sheets. We started the year on the water utility operating at $45,000, which is still way too low. And by the end of January, keep in mind, none of the first main break bills are on this. We ended in 1 month. We went from 45,000 to 70,000. That's awesome. That's just almost, as they say, the most overused term, unbelievable. So she printed me out and we just didn't have a lot of bills in January.
Yeah, you can see the
February will not be that good. So
right here,
interest. Yeah, the
This
interest.
is normally full with the start of another sheet.
Oh,
but this is the only bills that went out in January.
So we just didn't.
I just didn't pay most of them.
That was awesome. Was because this main break here was one of those we don't like. It was very expensive. The one we had Friday was not as expensive. We've now located a third one that's right across from Jacoby's print shop, but it's not coming to the surface yet. So we're going to wait either for warmer weather where I can get some of my paperwork caught up, or if it blows out, we'll fix it. So
hey, January's interest is $68.80.76. I haven't received that in yet. Okay. Do you want me to do it back into the water?
Well, that's what we talked about we was doing.
So keep doing that?
Yeah.
Like 7,000 last month or something like that.
Yeah, last month was the highest it's been. This is $68.80, so it's a good chunk.
So that's the
second highest.
Plus we had a 9% raise, correct, the first of the year?
Do what?
We had a 9% raise.
Yeah.
Okay. And last year, and then we'll have the next year too, because it's a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
On that raise.
Yep.
So.
And then sewage, of course, with knowing about this, sewage, we started the year at 165,000. We're currently at 179,000 after 1 month. So that's good. But once again, we didn't have a lot of bills. Our annual disinfection maintenance bills are sitting on my desk right now. So all the equipment we use for disinfection has to be maintained every year because of chlorine gas and stuff. And so I think that bill was $8,000 by itself, just to maintain all the equipment that we use for disinfection. So, so to give you an idea, 165 wasn't horrible. We need at least to have 2 months of reserve operating. We'll need about 100 and I'll have to read. I always figure the average every so often. I always figure an average of 2 months of operating expenses. I'm going to say safely 130,000. It was 120, but I'm going to say 130. So we're 35,000 above our minimum in cash. So we have cash reserves, but not a ton. So, but we did gain a little bit the first month. I would expect to keep that in an even keel. But like stuff with that Maxim, and then those sewer collapse things, we're inching closer to what I would call some sort of a cost of living or cost of operation, inflation-based increase. It would be very because our rates are so high, it would be a very low percentage to maintain inflation because they're already high. Whereas the water, the percentages have been higher because the rate was so low to start with. So,
but of course, the good news is we're putting all that interest into the water side, which that's an additional about $80,000.
What I'm talking about now on the sewage is right. This year, no, but I don't want to get to a point where I just surprise you 1 month and say, we're going to do something on the sewage. I still think we're a solid year from really having to look at it again. It'll depend on stuff like this Maxim thing and what we get into with fixing some of the stuff we found in inspection last year. But it's one of those, I just want to make sure I'm keeping you guys up to speed on what could be coming. And of course, this master plan will look at some of that to double check me on that to make sure that I'm seeing it correctly. So
I mean, that's just on this Maxim, this deal. Is it something we need or something we want?
Well, partially need, and I'm trying to quantify how much is need and how much is want. Because we need the evidence to prove what we did because the $5 million we spent in 2017 and 2019, we have to continue to prove compliance with that. Now, this data acquisition shows a record of what we did in each rain event, how much water we treated, how much rain we got, rainfall intensity, so on and so forth. And I'd be happy to take any of you on a tour of what it does to see it in real time. But so that's what Dave Wagner and I were discussing. There is some things in the permit that they're called backsliding. You're not allowed to backslide on treatment processes. And he said it might be a stretch for them to call that a treatment process, IDM that is, but you had it and now you're abandoning it. You had data acquisition, data recording, and historian tracking is what we call it. And now you've decided to do away with it.
But with this, we still have it.
Yeah, with that, you'd still have it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, and then this, and I'm sorry, it's taking way too long, but that does include, that stuff does fill out some of our reports for us. Which led me to well, let's see what the payback is. So how many hours did it take you to do it manually? Okay, figure that up. Yeah. No, that doesn't pay for that. On its own, it doesn't pay for it. Now, like I said, then you start throwing in, like when we did the meter project, well, if we're going to continue to have to operate with less labor, then some of this is just going to have to go. It's going to have to happen because we don't have the labor to cover it. We got to be more efficient with the labor. So the payback isn't such an issue if you can't find somebody to do the job. So at that point, like let's just say, God forbid, Sean was to leave, and he does do these reports now. Well, now I need it to be faster. If I've got to do it, it's gonna have to be faster, right? Because I've only got so much time in a day. But to say that it pays for itself on its own, no. It saves us that thing producing the reports for us probably saves us a max of 4 hours a month.
Oh, you did?
4 hours a month.
On that. If it was only that, it was not going to pay for it. So now, then you throw in that it's evidence to say to IDM, this is what we did during that rain event. Here's all the data right here.
Bethany.
Well, that's probably worth something. How much is it worth? Boy, you might come up with one number, I might come up with another. So 21,000 is a little easier to swallow than what I thought it was going to be at 30,000. But it's not something I would want to say, please approve it right now. I want to give it another month to read more in depth what you're talking about in the
Just
proposal.
hopefully they'll say, well, that 30 days has passed, so it's another 5,000.
Well, and if I will find out. Let me make a note about that, and I will find out. And if I need to get a hold of you guys by email or make a decision, and they say, oh yeah, it's going to go up, so I can't imagine it's going to go up that much, but I will find out. So
hey, on this stuff, you never know.
yeah, and then if it is a big deal, then I will email you guys and say, okay, well, I think we're going to have to maybe get together real quick and make a decision. But I don't feel comfortable saying, please approve this tonight. So, which you wouldn't do until after 6:30.
Right. Well, that 21,906 is kind of baseline. You might need to get into the weeds a little bit with and find out what might be some of the ancillary costs down the road.
Yeah, and him and I did talk on the phone for a little bit, and I will say, this is what, reading a little bit of it and talking to him on the phone, it is what we asked for. Because there was discussion of a couple different paths we could go. And this is what, after talking to him, that I had asked for.
Okay.
And the capabilities are, to which I will say the capabilities in this program are better than the programs that we have now. And it uses Windows 11. The old system was using Server 16, which is a server software.
Yes.
And he said, no, we built it on Windows 11. Well, I like that because we had tried to use the computer for Sean's main computer since his laptop's 10 years old. And that didn't work. When we tried to load things on with Server 16, it would not interact. And it ended up, we're pretty sure we caused the server to crash. We loaded Outlook on there. We think that screwed something up. And then the guy came in and he said, it's it's done. I mean, some of it's working, some of it's not. Of course, he's looking at all this code saying, he said, well, yeah, this is communicating, but this isn't. We're going to have to rebuild the whole thing.
Bethany.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Bethany.
And so and we've been sitting on this rebuild since the beginning of December. So I've been politely kicking the can down, or slowly kicking the can down the road since December, going, what are we going to do with this? So this is now the option to do something with it, or try to run without it. I don't feel super great about running without it. But, gosh, yeah, you gotta, especially when we got other things that are gonna require money on the wastewater side. The collection system on the sewer is only getting older. So I don't want
That works.
but I will say the plant runs
was I
very
thinking
well.
we already
I
got
want to keep the plant running very well,
Yeah.
so it's not pulling a bunch of our attention. So,
Yeah.
I will check tomorrow.
Yep, that was.
Don't want to have to pay a whole lot more.
I will, yeah. Because
Because I don't know if we can charge
The
people
whole
until
thing
we
is
have
easier
an ordinance
to
in hand.
maintain
Yeah,
it than
yeah,
it is to
and
just
no, you're
let it
right.
run
Can we charge
into the ground. So, and then
After
then
it's
have to do
voted
a bunch
in,
of
or does the
repairs
ordinance have to be
all
done?
at once to try to keep eating into
That's a
I would
question within the
imagine-
question.
Keep up
Yeah,
with
I
it.
would imagine it has
a
to.
mix of what they call
I
reactive
will check
maintenance.
my
proactive.
record of work.
Yes.
I swear we. I swear I
Because we
did it.
haven't done
I
it
like
yet.
pro.
So there's like,
I prefer pro.
I know you talked about it. I don't think
It's
anything
just
ever
sometimes
happened about it. Like,
you
so I just looked when I
Yeah.
got here.
Yeah.
Through my notes.
Yeah.
Through my minutes. And I'm like, okay, there it is.
Have I drafted it? I'm almost positive I have.
Have
Have we actually
picture of all
executed it and put it on the books?
breaks?
Oh yeah.
Probably not, and that's
Okay.
probably
I
my
took
fault.
a lot of this.
I just need to know when we can start it.
Yes.
I took a lot of
I
videos of this
will
one
check
and the one
tomorrow.
down
I'm gonna
there
start that as
because,
number one on my notes.
I took this time to do another
Must help.
Facebook video. I had
Because
somebody.
he said that helps on this grant thing. So.
Yeah, because I had a couple people say, "Oh, I see you got a contractor."
Where do we
Fix that last
stand
main
with
break."
the salary ordinance?
I was there. The town's equipment was there. I said, "Yes, we did." When it's that cold, our back truck
Are you
will
gonna
freeze.
change something in it?
So
Well, we were gonna
yes,
change
on
the
these, when they
dates
get cold like this,
to
we
make
have
it
typically
line
have
up
to fall
with
back
your
truck
pay
But
period.
your
to
other
deal with
question
the
was
water.
about the
Get the water out of the hole so we can try to
Yes.
fix it.
I don't care what we do. I just want to
Other
keep
than
one
that,
that way it's
we,
consistent.
and
why
we
was
had
it
to- we did
contradicting? I
call,
can't remember.
Contract
Oh, because it was
labor.
you had to use it
Yeah,
like this.
yeah. So you had to
bring a
use.
jackhammer.
What we were
Because
gonna
the
change
ground
it to
was
is
froze
have
2 foot
PTO
thick.
have to be used
Absolutely.
in basically the
which
calendar
has
year
actually
that's
do
in
that.
ordinance. Okay.
Do that.
A lot
And
of
then
times,
how are we
many,
going
many
to
years,
handle
it would thaw
people's
the
PTO?
ground
When
out
it's running like
and
anniversary
come
to
out
anniversary.
close
At least
to where
it
it's
looks like
leaking.
it's. Is it
Yeah.
currently running
These
anniversary
last
to
few,
anniversary?
they're finding a channel.
Yeah, Chad.
Okay,
Away
okay.
over here in the water bar.
I'll put a note
Clear
to
over
talk
the
about it
sidewalk.
when it's
So
my
when
turn.
we dug where the actual leak was, it's like a
Carve
frozen
that
salt.
out.
Yeah.
So we had to jackhammer, once you peel the asphalt off, you had to jackhammer all the dirt out, about 2 foot down. So I took a lot of videos of that to demonstrate, like, when it's coming up in the sidewalk and the main's in the road, we have to wait for an acoustic leak detector. Otherwise, we're just gonna be blindly digging
Yeah.
in the highway, not knowing where the leak
Deb,
is.
would you
So I took some videos to kind of explain that.
Roll back and close that door,
If they see us
please.
standing there with all of our equipment waiting, a lot of times those leak locators are an hour and a half away. So we have to, I call, they're one of the first people I call so they can get them on the road. So the one that was Friday was coming up clear over in the apartment yard. And the main is out there where your right tire runs in the highway. And that was the only place the water was coming up. So where do you even start? Well, I'm not starting. When you're digging under a state highway, we're not starting until that leak guy tells me
Where's that?
where the leak's at, because it costs so much money to, and especially then if the ground's froze 2 foot thick under the asphalt, you spend an hour and a half digging through all that frozen dirt.
Not even here.
It's not here. It's over there, which we've done. We've not. Sometimes we don't have a choice. If the leak locator cannot make it here, we'll take a guess.
Yeah.
And more times than not, I can tell you we've been wrong. So yeah, you'll see. I did do well. Yeah, it's 6:30.
That's not why.
Okie doke, I guess we'll call the meeting to order. Thank both of you for coming out tonight.
Most nights are out today.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
spring flip flop weather.
Not for me, but
All right, have both of you had a chance to look at the minutes? Okay, is there any additions or corrections need to make? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as stated.
I'll make a motion, we accept the previous month's minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Brooke, there you go.
Thanks for not correcting me.
Oh, oh. Ed, it's your turn.
Fantastic. So I got the quote back for Tip the Spear for the upfit of the Tahoe. Come in at 19.9.
Which is a little less than what they did quoted, right? Weren't they like 21?
Depends on who quoted us first time.
Let's see.
Sure.
So it shows 20,000. I'm sorry, not 20,000.
Who's that quote
Yeah.
Well,
from?
it's 19.
Tip of the Spear.
And when will they be doing
Spear
that?
or spear?
Spear.
Spear.
Shut up, bro. When they ordered the parts, and as soon as the parts come in, it'll go in, it'll take a week.
Okay. Okay.
I have a quote here from Rusty's remodel. We have some water damage in the attic, and it's leaked into the bathroom.
Mhm.
So it's replace the vent boot on the roof, and then replace the rotted OSB decking in the attic, repair damaged drywall in the bathroom ceiling, retexture the drywall patch, and then he's got to get a lift rental. Come in at $2,500. Whether we use him or not, we need to get it fixed so we don't get a mold issue like we did next door.
Do we have other people we can get quotes from in town that can do quick work? Do you usually use anyone else, Ed?
That'd be a question for Chad.
Rusty built the building, so
Yeah.
I $2,500 to do that kind of work. I've seen the damage. It didn't sound too bad to me where I would be concerned about getting him. That's just my opinion.
I have
Getting
used-
another quote. So.
I've used Rusty several times, and he's always does excellent work and has been the lowest price. I mean, you start picking people out of Lafayette and other places, it's going to be considerably higher than that. So, you say 2,500 is the total bid?
Yeah.
Okay.
There March 18th and 19th, there's a training in Bloomfield, Indiana, that I would like to attend. It's a 2-day training, so I'll just stay down there for the night. And then in April, we have the Marshals Conference for our yearly training to get the rest of our hours in.
Mhm.
The training in Bloomfield would just be me. Marshals Conference would be the same as we had last year, 3 of us going, attending it. So, other than that, Flock.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Still running into issues with Flock communication. So, I just want to get your guys' blessing on whether we continue to pursue it or we just cancel it. I don't know what they will do, but if they're not going to communicate, then I'm not going to keep fighting to get them to respond back to us.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, which we talked a little bit earlier, and if their service is no better than what it's been so far, you know, I mean, it's been a losing battle.
Yeah,
I know
I
they've
think-
been wanting to move that one that got knocked down. They've been wanting to move it all over the place. Plus, they messed up big time on the ones on 26 on trying to get that approved, and
Yeah,
it's
like-
just been one error after another.
like Frankfurt State Conservation, they've had no issues, but I think obviously they're a lot bigger than we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel that they're putting the small town on the back burner. I'm not worried about it.
My own opinion, I don't know if it jives with these other two, but I would call them and say, hey, here's the deal. Either you get it done, give them 30, 60, 90, probably 90 days and get things figured out, or we're done.
They're not communicating with you, not giving you information?
I had to end up calling NDOT just to see where we were at on the permitting. And just so happened, NDOT was getting ready to send a denial letter to Flock for 26.
Oh,
And they said that they didn't receive the information. There was some mess up on the paperwork, and Stan and I and Sarah and Brooke got it all figured out, resubmitted it. Well, Flock did not send it to NDOT, so we were still on hold. So Sarah, in turn, resubmitted it to NDOT, and Flock said that they would have a conference call with me, and they have not yet. So,
Are we bound by any sort of a contract that Flock would?
well,
Okay.
we were. I think you read that contract. Now, whether they're holding up their end of the bargain, I don't know.
And so that is, I think I still have a copy of that contract.
Okay.
Let me read through that and make sure, because normally the problem with those contracts is, and I think we talked about this if I'm remembering things correctly, they're pretty one-sided in terms of the cancellation. We may not have a great escape out. They would have to have breached for us to then be able to get out like scot-free unless they had termination provisions outlined. I don't remember off the top of my head if they did or didn't.
Well, I don't know if this is an issue or not, but
Mhm.
talking to NDOT, this camera here, they're wanting to move it to the other side of the road. Not feasible.
Mhm.
And NDOT said we could move it further north
Mhm.
on the other side of a barricade,
Mhm.
and it would be okay. It doesn't have to be if it's on the other side of the guardrail.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be 15 feet off the road.
Okay.
I promise you, these aren't 15 feet off the road that they installed now.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
that's where.
Yeah,
Okay.
see what our route is on that. But I would try to contact, say, hey, you need to get this done, or we,
Sure.
I mean, you might want to talk to Bethany before you call, but
before we threaten them.
yeah. So, and I think we need to probably take a vote, entertain a motion to accept Rusty's bid to fix, because we need to fix a leak, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept Rusty Thorpe's bid for $2,500 to repair issues at the police station.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
And the only other thing is that we have the money in our training budget for these two. I mean,
Yeah, I'm thinking that's just ongoing, so.
Yeah.
No problem there. Okay, Chad, it's your turn.
Well, to piggyback on some of Ed's stuff, we're also making internally. We're trying to finish redoing the bathroom on the flooring and at the police station, and working our top quality finishing skills. That's,
I can say the paint job looks great.
Did you paint it?
I did.
So then we're putting planking in, and so he can get his new lockers put in and stuff like that. We're trying to. The intention was to try to finish it Friday, but that main break kind of changed our plans Friday. So, but yeah, we've been working well, trying to work together and get it finished up. So,
Okay.
probably the first thing. Did you look at the contract for Klein Peter?
Yes.
That was given to you?
Yes. I have no major notes. My only notes were relatively small. One of which being, I think that he probably just needs to update a reference in there. But as far as substantially the contract, I'm totally fine with everything that's in there.
And I think we need to sign that, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So I've got a clean copy here with me that you guys can sign.
Okay.
And then, so the other thing was Strand, who's the engineer, and I have the draft that I can send to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and I talked earlier today. What he would like us to do is approve the Strand contract, which is the engineer that will be doing the work with Klein Peter.
Okay.
Pending legal review.
Okay.
Because we have 6 months from now to complete so if we wait another month, so if you complete it and they've already approved it, then Stan can sign the
Okay.
engineering contract.
Okay.
So I'll email you the Strand contract. I don't know if they need to do two motions, one for Klein Peter and one for Strand, but so that's, so you do one to sign Klein Peter's contract as the grant administrator. Is that how that contract's worded?
Grant administration.
That we already basically hired him.
Well, we did, but we have not signed a contract to actually administrate the planning study. We did to apply for the grant. I think we had a contract with him to apply for the grant, but not now. You have a contract to actually,
Okay.
because I believe that includes what his fees are. I think the fee schedule for what he gets of the grant is in there, so you wouldn't have signed that yet until
Okay.
you got the grant. So
Okay.
since now you have the grant, you have to. I'm pretty sure you have to have a motion to sign the contract.
Okay, so might as well do that now. Entertain a motion to accept Klein Peters, what do we call it?
Grant administration.
Grant
contract.
administration contract.
Motion to accept Klein Peters grant administration contract.
I'll second.
We got a motion made and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ta-da. Do we
think
all
there's-
sign this? Or?
Just you, Stan. I think there's 2 places for you to sign.
Okay.
And then the second motion would be to approve the contract for Strand Engineering to complete the master utility study pending legal review.
I make a motion to.
Well, you could probably just say so moved.
Oh,
since
so
we're-
moved.
Yeah.
Thank
Am I
you.
correct on that? Yeah.
What did you call that? Master utility study?
Master utility
planning.
master
study?
utility study.
So,
Okay, that's what I got.
it's so moved is a lot easier.
Do we
Second.
have a second? Okay. It's been made and seconded. All in
And
favor?
Klein Peters
Aye.
doing that.
Aye.
This is Strand Engineering.
Strand's doing that.
And then I'm going to email that quickly before I forget to do it to you. Because the one you're going to review says draft on it, so there was no point in me printing it out to
Okay.
try to have them sign it tonight. So,
Yeah.
Other than I did have what I didn't go through with you guys in the work session, but I had just to put it out there. This one, the Rossville Water Bar main break out here that we ended up cutting a valve out. We didn't want to cut the valve out, but the pipe was bad right up against the valve. And let's see if I can find it. Yeah. So the cost for that particular one, I think I have a pretty good handle on it. We haven't done. I took a guesstimate at the asphalt repair. So we replaced 8 feet of pipe and a valve. The valve, I do remember the price of the valve in my head was $1,700 just for the valve. So the total price of that leak was $9,800. That doesn't include our equipment, our labor. That just includes bills that we have to pay to other people. So the leak detection bill was $1,000. The back truck, having that other back truck here because it was so cold, was $2,800. Stone backfill and some outside. We had one contract laborer here. Was $1,700. Parts was $2,600, and the estimated asphalt repairs $1,500. Those are not the kind of leaks we like to see. Where you got and then that doesn't include labor for us to deal with the boil advisory, take a sample, pay for the sample to be analyzed, all the notifications before and after the boil advisory. That's just checks that we had to write. The town had to write to outside people. So it's just not. So you replaced 8 feet of pipe and a valve for $9,800. So over $1,000 a foot. So that's where it's like, yeah, that's, and then of course now we're putting these new parts in. So then when you go to replace the main, you're sitting there going, do we abandon the parts we just put in?
Yeah.
Or do you try to connect back into them with the new main? Yeah, it's just, the one that we had Friday was more what I call simple. We clamped it, or they clamped it. They got to it right after I had to leave for the funeral. So we ended up putting 3 clamps on it because they clamped the main leak. But then there was pictures, which I can share with you, of deterioration that you could see in the main next to where the leak was. So we went ahead and wrapped more clamps there since we had already spent all the money to dig the hole.
Sure.
We went ahead and wanted to make sure we weren't going to have to dig up there. We may dig 5 feet from there, but and then the day before that, we knew we had a leak that was costing us about 50,000 gallons a day. So Thursday, we had a leak locator here and found one across from Jacoby's silk screening on State Road 26, of course. And that's probably 20 feet from the last leak we had on State Road 26. So it's not coming to the surface yet, but we wanted to know where it was at. Ironically, he was here, went over the whole town,
That's good.
found that leak, found a couple hydrant leaks. We got pinched back down. And then less than 24 hours later, that one broke loose at the east end of town. So, because it wasn't there when he was here Thursday. So, it's just, it's frustrating. So, and the side, like I said, side street main breaks do not cost typically as much as highway main breaks. And we just see most of our breaks on the highway. So I took a lot of videos, like I said, for the intention of doing another update video, maybe on Facebook about, you know, what these entail, and when they drive by, what we might be working on and the process. And I don't know when I'll get time to go through that, but you guys remember last month on the asphalt estimates, many book here. Do you guys still have it?
I didn't bring it with me.
And then Bethany, did you have a chance to research
I
your participation in this?
Yeah, so I talked with Alicia. It sounds like actually her involvement is normally a little bit more hands off than kind of what we were sort of maybe thinking. She says she does kind of like a review more for compliance than anything else, rather than take like an administrator type role.
Yeah.
If you wanted us to try to fumble through it, we could figure it out, but I'm not positive that is actually the best approach right yet. I would actually rather try to kind of sit alongside one or two of these and be a little bit more involved for a brief period with someone else, then maybe look to take that over in the future if that's, okay, just because it's not quite perfectly in our normal scope. But I do agree with you that, like, looking long term, okay, I think we can save the town some money doing something like that. Yeah.
Well, but I watched the county or the Frankfort City meeting last night.
Yeah.
Where she was on there remotely.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what because it sounds like she's reviewing all the bids that come in.
Yeah.
And then we're paying BFNS to do all that right now.
So you're paying BFNS to review them for just like compliance with the.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That I feel definitely comfortable. I can make sure that they're in compliance with what the bid was supposed to be.
And then basically what I was hoping was that if we, based on what Frankfurt, because I assume I don't.
What she was explaining to me is that BFNS still handles, and then like the town of Frankfurt or city of Frankfurt, someone within the actual city more so handles the timeline. That is the part that she is not super actively involved in, but that is also a very sensitive part of it, I know.
Timeline as far as the bidding timeline.
Yeah,
Oh,
making sure all
that's
okay.
not a problem. But my concern is I did get a copy of Frankfurt's bid packet, which is using Google Earth Maps. It's not using an engineer drawing, which I assume, and that's where I did have a question whether Alicia was involved in the bid packet itself.
No, not normally.
Okay, so does she review it for accuracy?
Not always. Sometimes I know she has in some occasions, but it doesn't sound like she doesn't always, like, the bid packet doesn't necessarily always get put together and then plopped on her desk to review and then sent out and then come back and she reviews for compliance. She more so just reviews
the bids for compliance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that helps me because then I know what I need to ask these other people.
Yeah.
Can they accommodate coming up with the bid packet itself? And then because reading through Frankfurt's it's not what we were getting from BFNS, but in my opinion, it didn't need to be what we were getting from BFNS.
Right.
If you're doing a lot of underground work, and I think Frankfurt's biggest issue is those railroad ties.
Yeah.
Having specs for that. But if you're just taking asphalt off, putting asphalt on, it's just not. to me, doesn't reach the level of paying an engineer
Mm-hmm.
to draw up plans and specifications for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gives me enough to go on. But
Mhm.
at least during the bidding process, you can help me review to make sure that they're accurate, that they met all the requirements
Yes.
to be a responsive. What is it? Responsible.
Lowest and most responsible.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
responsive, responsible
Yeah.
bidder. Yeah. So.
Yes,
okay.
that I do feel comfortable that I can assist with that and save town a little bit of money there.
Okay, yep, that's good. I did get my CDL physical. I still need to go take the written test so I can get my 2-day class scheduled. And I'm trying to get to that. I'm kind of getting behind in the office, which is why you guys didn't get a written update this month. So I'm kind of winging tonight a little bit. But so have you guys looked at the pavement quotes? The one, Stan and I have talked a little bit. After writing that up, like I said, what we talked about last month is getting off in the weeds in like South Street, East-West South Street, Clinton Street, things that involve curbing, sidewalks. There is an option at the end of that document that would do a large project this year that we could apply for that would all be roads that don't have a lot of those issues. Crestview, Southgate, part of Rainbow Drive, like Orchard Drive. I can't remember all of them. It's on the very back page. It says which segments. It comes up with an amount, which I think is around 140,000 matching, which is what was the total cost on that option 2026 option,
140, 387 and 41
and
cents.
then the construction cost was here. I got a copy.
That's the matching funds.
Yeah, that's just the matching fund. So
Mhm.
it ends up being, you take that by 4, and that's the total construction price.
Okay.
So over 500,000. So the good news is the legislature is putting some priority on people who did not get funding last year. We did not get funding last year. So there is some priority for community crossings because they're discussions that they're going to reduce some of the community crossings funding. But like I said, they did put a caveat in there that they were focusing on people who did not get funding in 2025. So we should be in good position. But like I said, once again, don't need, as long as we're going to go this route, don't need to say, yeah, we're going to apply for this because the application doesn't start until July. But just be thinking, is that really the route you want to go? Which is because you can go through any of these and look at the options, but like I said, we're really opening a can of worms, especially on East or West South Street. We're opening a can of worms because I think there's some adjustments that need to be made to those streets, and you're never going to get the opportunity to fix sidewalks without this grant to get 25% match on sidewalk repair. So otherwise, you're putting the onus of all sidewalk repairs back on the homeowner. So,
Now you say July. Now are we going to be able to get some of this stuff done this year?
it probably won't. The way that you'll find out, it will probably be bid to be done basically a year from right now.
Okay.
So, but then we'll know in the fall. So we'll know roughly. So then we'll still be
Okay.
able to try to apply again in 2027
Mm-hmm.
because you can have multiple. You can have more than one open at a time. And then as soon as we, like I said, then we basically apply for another round, close the previous round, and then just as long as they keep this open, we just go after it as hard as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that's my issue with the sidewalk thing is once it dries up, there is for Rossville, there's no mechanism to try to help fix sidewalks. And so South Street, East Ramey Street, all of South Street and East Ramey Street are the last ones that we have sidewalks on that could be an option to do under this grant program.
Mm-hmm.
But for this year, we could skip that and do all what we call mill and fill operations. So
The thing is,
still
it's not getting cheaper. So
yeah. And
Okay.
now that applies to asphalt and concrete. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's not like, oh yeah, that concrete's going to be way cheaper if you do it this year. And if so, I'd be saying, okay, well, let's look at these other ones. I don't. It's all going to go up again next year. So, but that was, I did want to talk about that again, just so you guys would be cognizant by next month. We probably need to kind of have it nailed down so I can get with whoever is going to help us with the drawing side of it. Like I said, I did feel better. They seem to work for Frankfurt, so they're plowing the way for us. That's great. I'm glad for the help. So, based on their setup, I think that if that's acceptable, I'd like to try to save us some money and not have to pay BF&S for that. So, that way you can take more of that money you were going to spend on the engineer and put it towards the actual construction. So,
Sounds fine.
so. We have not really touched the Mac yet. We're trying to get there to just go over the truck, do oil changes and check it out. And I'm still hoping to go to the work truck show that's in Indianapolis next month. All the hook lift manufacturers will be there. And I mean, I've got a solid price. I just don't like the price for a brand new hoist. It's $55,000. So, and then we could sell our truck whole. So, but I'm hoping we'll find maybe a used one that meets our needs, either on Marketplace or wherever. So we'll just keep digging on that. But sometime this year we'll have that expense. I'm still waiting on a buffer yard quote, a landscape buffer yard quote for the brush pile. I guess I don't know if I threw a number. What I think the number is going to be north of 10,000
To move it?
to buffer yard. What I call buffer yard. Basically, put arborvitae around it so you can't see it.
Fencing or arbor.
So, because his proposal to move it was only to move it 200 feet, so somebody was still going to have to stare at it. So I don't see the point.
Yeah.
As of right now, he seemed to be fine with let's just plan on it being there. I'm trying to come up with some drawings, but I just want to know because we could put a fence up. Maybe a fence would be cheaper and you could just put some landscaping in front of the fence. I don't know. Until he gets me the quote on the arborvitae, I don't know which option's better. So
Well, arborvitae, you got to keep them watered. And after about 10 years, arborvitae really don't look that good.
yeah. So I would rather, and that's
That's
why.
if they all live.
Huh?
That's if they all live.
And that's why I explained to Phil, and he probably felt a little of my annoyance at that point. I said, when you first bought this, I asked about, what do you think you want to do? Because if it's a vegetative barrier, I need to get the vegetative barrier growing. So now we're a year into it, and now, I don't know if I want to see that or not. And it's like, well, I could have started growing this stuff a year ago if we would have known. So, but whereas a fence, obviously, you can build a 10-foot fence, and depending on what materials you build it out of, well, you're done. It's just now they're building once again. Depends on if they're building $400,000 houses out there. Well, I like the fence, but I want some stuff to gussy up so I don't see the fence. I don't want to see the brush pile, and I also don't want to see this industrial fence either. You see what I'm saying? Whereas the arborvitae is more natural looking. It just, I don't know. I don't know. If the people who would build houses out there would be satisfied with a fence or satisfied with a vegetative buffer. So, but I need for the cost to move it, and we don't even know where we'd move it to.
Yeah.
I think I feel like the best option. We at least have part of the buffer yard there because we have the blue spruces that are buffering it on one side, but we're gonna have to. So I'm still working on that. I think hopefully we talked about the water and wastewater stuff, the township stuff.
That is on hold, and it is 100% my fault because I just haven't gotten through the resolutions. Alicia is, as you know, in Miami this week, so I want her to review stuff before I get it to you guys and get it to the township to have everybody sign and execute.
Other than that, I think that was. I'm sure I'm forgetting.
There's two spots. I almost found one.
I thought there were two.
You can look it up.
Yeah.
I only found one place. I signed it.
Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe there was only one.
Maybe I skipped a page there, but
Well, and we're dealing with a furnace issue at the shop building where we use every once in a while we use the old shop room to thaw things out, and we had some issues with that furnace. Got a quote while I was sitting there for a new furnace for $3,000. I know I can do better than that. So the one I got was we would install it, and I think I could get the furnace for $1,500. I'm getting the one that's there. We found parts for, but we also found a small crack in the heat exchanger. It could run. We could put a carbon monoxide detector in there and run.
It's not safe.
But long term, that crack's probably going
That
to
way I don't forget to
So-
send you copies, which is something
and
that I
it's
do
a very old
frequently.
hanging furnace.
Yeah.
But my issue has been we don't heat the room a lot. We heat it like when it gets super cold. We need to thaw out a piece of equipment. So I was hoping. I think we're going to be closer if we help install a new hanging furnace. I think we're going to be closer to $1,500, which I don't mind making that call as long as I have an objection to it. But I did, since we're sitting here and I just got the quote, I wanted to let you know we're working. That's one thing we're working on. So.
Because if you got the crack in there, like say, you just don't want to have someone gassed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not getting better.
Yeah. And like I said, I started in 1998. I remember thinking the furnace was very old when I started here, and we've done very little to it. So it owes us nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I'm pretty sure that's all I got that I needed to talk about. So.
Okay, Bethany, you're next.
Okay, I have a couple things. One of which being I'm going to leave you guys with some parking ordinance examples that I found just for you guys to kind of look at. I just kind of pulled a small sample from a couple different places. Basically, what it really kind of boils down to is generally most other locations that are going to have a parking ordinance of some kind, it's going to be a green space ordinance. So, nothing with wheels basically on grass. I know we kind of talked about, I don't know that that's exactly what we want, because do we really care if the boat's parked next to the house on grass? No, probably not, but yeah, we want to avoid the trailers. I don't know that there's a great meet in the middle scenario where you can't say, hey, you can't have these 6, trailers in the backyard that are enclosed trailers. Or you could say, hey, we don't want them on the grass. That's fine. That you can fill that void with a green space ordinance. But if you just want the trailers gone, all they do is they put down a load of gravel, and then all of a sudden you still have the trailers there. They're just on gravel instead of grass now. And then, you run the risk of in the process potentially alienating, people that have the boat parked next to the house or something like that. So I'm going to leave these for you guys to kind of dig through, take a look at, and then we can, kind of reconvene and touch base on that, see what makes the most sense for the town today, long term, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you, Brooke. So that was item number 1. Item number 2, we kind of already talked about. I am slow on the resolution for the township ground. However, I did confirm kind of everyone in my office, we roundtabled it. They kind of agree, hey, if we're not going to do anything, if someone has their fence on that ground, then a survey may not necessarily be really necessary. I don't think we have an issue with there being anybody's fence that is encroaching on the boundary of that parcel that's being donated, but ultimately I think the survey might just kind of be a waste of money unless the town is going to take action based upon it. If you guys are kind of good with accepting it as is, where is, I sort of would probably tell you maybe save the money, and if we run into an issue where it comes into question, we feel like, hey, we need to get to the bottom of whether or not this is your ground or my ground, then maybe we go ahead and do a survey. But I sort of take the approach, I think we're okay to hold off spending that money until an issue arises.
There's
If
kind
you
of
guys
fences there already, so I mean, that's
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then it's land we didn't have anyhow, so
right.
it's like,
Yeah, and ultimately, I'm actually dealing with this with private clients, an encroachment issue where someone's got a piece of a garage that sits on their property. It's not easy to resolve. Basically, what ends up happening a lot of times, based on the case law, is kind of a judge. You got to sue. So you got to go to court, you got to do all this hoopla, and then what ends up happening is a judge will probably grant an easement to the person who was, who owns the fence that was mistakenly put there. They don't normally make them tear down the fence and change things like that. Or there's varying case law, varying things. However, that's kind of what I'm reading. Is it's less likely that we're going to tear down the structure that is there incorrectly. More so, we're just going to grant them easement and access. I think probably the town would be okay with doing that maybe anyway if necessary. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I would say it's definitely going to be cheaper to just grant someone access to their fence that is 1 foot over onto township ground if we were in that scenario. So you guys make the decision, but I don't think it's totally irresponsible to forego a survey as part of this. Title work and title search I would still do. I think that still makes sense, but a survey is kind of, if you're not going to act on it and you're not going to do anything about it, you're probably okay.
Yeah. So basically, I guess we probably need a motion just to accept the title search and not the survey.
I think you can hold off on that because we'll do all of that kind of when we do the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, because there will be a couple of other things at that point, so we'll present to you guys the resolution first, and actually it'll need to start with the township, and then it'll sort of funnel through to you guys. So
Okay.
Next up, I had an update for you guys on the easement. That is not the greatest update, and certainly not what we were hoping for. So to walk you guys through where I'm at, where I've been, we came to the conclusion early on in my time that we needed to probably get with the county. The county could grant us an easement into their right-of-way, since the county technically owns the right-of-way for Delphi Road, for property that is owned by, we think, the cemetery. So where we're at is we've got ground that is, we believe, somewhere deeded and owned by the cemetery. The state or the county has a right-of-way granted to them somewhere for that road, because it is not a state highway and it is also not technically annexed into the town of Rossville. So the default is it's a county road. The county has the right of way. So we went to the county, asked for them to grant an easement. They were like, sure, no problem. It's not a big deal at all. We'll happily do that. So we did that. We drafted all of that up, got everything signed, taken care of after a long, lengthy battle. Then we get it over to the recorder, and the recorder rejected it. She's not wrong to have rejected it because statutorily there is supposed to be a deed reference number establishing ownership. Well, the problem is that there is no reference that I can cross-reference that shows the state's right or the county's right-of-way, because those are not recorded, cataloged, or indexed. And in tracing things down, I spent 2 hours at the courthouse and did not come up with an answer as to who actually owns the cemetery and where the cemetery's last deed and or plat was. It just basically doesn't exist. It probably exists
I bet
somewhere.
Jeff has it. He is the cemetery.
Tim.
Oh, Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I
Tim.
say, who's
Yeah.
Jeff?
Well, and that-
He always looks like a Jeff to me.
And
I bet Tim knows.
Yeah, I'm sure
But he does.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah.
if Tim could find a plat number,
I know he's
some
watching.
sort
Tim,
of
gotta have
some
him.
sort of reference of some kind
I'll get
that
Tim's number.
establishes ownership, then we will do that. Unfortunately, what that probably means is then if we're going to the cemetery to grant access to that, then we'll have to have an addendum to the stop sign easement, probably also showing that the cemetery is going to grant some sort of access.
Can they just grant the access without having all this other stuff?
I would tell you need to have the easement properly recorded so that we can continue to maintain the stop sign. I know this is an absolute purgatory of a situation, and I promise I'm trying, but holy Toledo, Batman, we keep running into these really weird things. It's the classic, the cemetery's been there forever, Delphi Road has been there forever, there's not great records as to how it got there, it just exists.
Sorry, Jerry.
Delphi Road wasn't always Delphi Road.
When it King James something or other, or is that just in
430
Carroll
East.
County?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause
West.
we had
430
a
West.
I had
Fox
3
79.
addresses the first year I was here.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
It
All
certainly is perplexing. So what I was gonna then propose to you guys as the council was option one. If anyone knows anyone that has any information on how the cemetery got there,
I've got Tim Eller's number. You want to talk to him?
yes, that would be a fantastic first place to start, because the second place then to go is, I would tell you guys,
Let me call him. Okay, I'll call him.
there has to be a deed or a plat somewhere. But the problem is, I decided it probably didn't make sense for me to go and dig through 100 years worth of the auditor's books, because I have no idea how long that would take me, and thus I have no idea how much that would cost. I think maybe the better approach is, if we can't find someone that has access to something, maybe we hire a title searcher for $300 or $400 that can go in there and search and try to get to the bottom of it and find us that like reference number that we unfortunately desperately need. Just give you guys an update on where we're at, what's going on, and what I think next steps needs to be, because we could, another option is we could go at it the we'll call it quick and dirty way.
Oh,
Which
that's
is-
I like that. Whatever it is, I'm in.
Brookson, it is that we submit it to, we tweak a couple of small things that we can tweak in here. I add in a section about, we could not cross-reference a deed because a deed could not be located. And we tell the recorder to record it as is. So they will not love doing that, but they can do it. We don't technically meet the state statute requirements for an easement to be properly recorded and thus properly on notice. However, I feel with a high degree of certainty, the cemetery is probably going to be there for a very, very long time. I feel with a high degree of certainty, no one involved is probably going to complain about the stop sign being there. So we run a smaller risk of someone saying, hey, you didn't do that correctly.
One thing Tim's going to say is he has to mow around it, so just spray some Roundup around it so he doesn't have to. He already said that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can budget in a little stone patch right around it.
Yeah.
So that is option. I don't know what we're up to, 3 or 4 at this point. We can try, talking to Tim. We could try doing the title searcher, or we could just go at it the quick and dirty way that is not technically correct, but not likely.
Let's see what
to
Tim
cost
says,
Yeah.
and if he doesn't know anything, I think the quick and dirty way is the way to go.
Yep. I agree.
I still like my speed bump.
Yeah.
That would have been a whole lot easier.
We don't know that.
The road we could, yeah, we
Really
could
don't
pave
know
it.
that road. Because
County.
the
I
other
guess.
county comes around there and plows it.
Who owns the road? Well, the north half for a while, Rossville.
We just repaved it.
I was like, we paid to repave it.
Yeah, but it would actually, and this is then another question is, okay, as we get looking a few years in the future with the subdivision that's going to go in out there, is the cemetery at any point likely to be annexed? Because it's going to be right next door. Would they be upset about being annexed? At that point, could we get the entire road just in the town of Rossville's control?
Oh, it seems reasonable
Yeah.
enough.
The residents won't have a water bill.
Of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Well, we up the penalty, so.
I mean,
Can they vote?
I mean, they're not paying taxes on it anyway.
Got a lot of family out there.
Oh,
And that's another thought that I had in all of this. Does that solve the problem more long term? I don't know. I don't know whether or not the cemetery is going to be on board with that or not.
See, we show it in our road inventory,
Yeah,
but there's no legal definition to back it up.
right.
So, yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Annexing it would probably be
But also, what are we annexing? Something that doesn't exist on the county records.
Yeah.
We'd have to have a
I know.
survey of
Is there
it
a
to
quick and
annex
dirty
it.
way to do that?
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, it's really fun when like
That's right. It predates the town. The town says it was
Yeah.
established in 1870, and it sounds like if the cemetery is 1850,
I think at 53, I think it's.
that predates the town.
and
So,
you
on the sign where the double
Yeah.
gates are closed, it has dates on both sides of that.
Okay.
you go and you look in the count or on Beacon and it says like please contact county recorder's office for ownership information on this. You go to the surveyor and they're like, well, I mean by default, it's the cemetery, so like it must be owned by Rossville Cemetery Association. And then you go to the recorder and they're like, oh well, I mean we can't find anything, but it's the cemetery.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Yeah. So there's something somewhere. I'm sure there is. There has to
They
be.
just expanded to the east here a few years ago
Yeah.
because they bought some more property.
And there's records on that.
Yeah.
I can find records on that, but the problem is because that's not the parcel that we need and care about. And I could also find halfway decent records on things that are all, south of that because of the subdivision. There's a ton of legal descriptions that, give me or listed in prior deeds that mention running south of the cemetery, but I just don't ever get anything that
No man's land.
incorporates the cemetery.
Text him, Marcia.
Marcella?
Yeah. See if her.
Okay.
I
Well,
think they're still here.
that's where we're at on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I will report back. Well, I'll let Brooke reach out, and then we'll go from there. We'll chase down that rabbit hole first. If that yields nothing, I'll report back, and we'll figure out where to go next.
Hmm.
Good.
Quick and dirty.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's everything. I
Done?
got. Yep.
okay. Brooke?
Okay, I just have the usual paperwork. We had 3 allowance dockets for. We had 3 pays for January, and then Chad, when we do the changing the when she does the salary, when she types in the salary ordinance stuff, yeah. So there's that contradiction of anniversary to anniversary, or you want calendar date. How do you want her to word it? Calendar date, like vacation must be taken within the calendar date or within the anniversary dates.
Stan and I had a chat about this. So ask Stan. No, I'm joking.
I forget what I said.
I wanted it to match the pay periods. So, because the pay periods slightly overlap. So, basically, it would mean this year.
So she can word it within the pay periods
Yeah.
of.
But then the other issue became we had opened a small can of worms because of the way the policy is written on when they get their vacation on the anniversary year.
Oh,
So part of it is referencing anniversary year, and then there's no description.
Yeah.
Like Stan and I were talking, then it gets off in the weeds. It's not describing if it's prorated. Like if I had to use it by my work anniversary, well then I have to use my, including my carryover, my 6 weeks of vacation has to be used by April 20th. Because that's my anniversary date.
And then you get no vacation from April to December.
Exactly. So I don't want it
That's
to
no
be
problem.
that.
okay. You ready for this answer from Marcia Eller? Rossville Cemetery Association operates the cemetery, and each lot is individually owned.
Oh.
So what's that do for you?
It still would. I'm taking the approach that I'm hopeful it's like a sublease type situation where Rossville Cemetery owns the whole thing technically, officially, and yes, you buy a small plot, but it's more of a sublease rather than an actual like.
Well, you're not leaving.
Yeah, well, I get that. It's a perma sublease, but
Yeah.
they're not because the
To
plots.
me, if he's at least
That's all
something
you
you can have
believe.
a
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But the plots are not individually surveyed off.
You're
as
saying
far
my
as
grandma
the
can get out of that lease?
I'm saying I'm not representing grandma on that one.
Oh,
So, but I more so mean that in that Yes,
Or you
like
have
the
to do
plots
that.
are not officially surveyed out as their own individual parcels for county records and tax purposes.
Okay.
There is one overarching owner, and then yes, you.
Well, that's our that's our Tim Eller
Okay.
answer.
Okay. So we don't have any, and I'm
They're
assuming
individually owned lots.
in
plots.
any of their
She said
records.
lots.
In any of their records, do they have the plat or original deed for the cemetery? Again, we are probably dating back to like 1830 something. Or
What are we
52,
asking
say
for?
1852?
53, I think.
Plat or
Plat or original plat or deed
yeah.
Mhm.
to the cemetery.
So it might be referenced. Though.
Hmm.
This is interesting. This would be great to get resolved.
I'm hoping one day that we will.
Wow.
We've only been working on this for 14 months. And plus whatever Bob had been working on it before I got
So,
here.
is there an original plat or deed? Is that the question?
Yes.
In its entirety?
yes.
Let's see what she says.
Mhm.
Okay. The other thing. Oh, did we figure out how you're going to word that now?
Nope.
So if the salary ordinance, the handbook, I suppose we can deal with later. That designates when they get their vacation
Mm-hmm.
on their anniversary years. Because like Stan, like it actually did apply to Sean because like his anniversary's in November.
Mm-hmm.
So do you give him the extra week? He doesn't get the extra week until November, and then he's got from November to December to use that extra week.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the handbook. Did I send you a page out of that handbook? I can't remember. I think I sent you the
I think
electronic version.
Brooke sent me the handbook at one point, didn't you?
I can't
But
remember.
I think you're able to fix the ordinance to just say the PTO has to be used because the salary ordinance doesn't reference when they get their extra PTO.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the intention is to get it to where the salary ordinance says you have from the beginning of when this salary ordinance takes effect to the end of when this salary ordinance to use this year's PTO.
See, I read that differently though, and I read it that if the salary ordinance is effective December to December, but your anniversary is in April, and you get your entire year's worth of vacation in April, you have from April to December to use your vacation, and then you are up a creek without a paddle from December to the next April.
We need to change
So
that.
you want to change them both? at the same
I
time.
want to change them both.
Okay,
I don't care what it is, but if we're going to, we
well,
need
like
to
you
have.
said, we have. It's not like it has to be done tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
it just needs to show that it's correct
Right.
before the last pay period in December.
Because
So,
then I sort of think going forward, maybe we should, rather than run the PTO from anniversary date to anniversary date, maybe it runs salary ordinance period to salary ordinance period. How do you clean up the people that have carryover and stuff like that? I don't know. I know that they did that at my husband's last job, and he got absolutely taken advantage of there. But so I don't know that I'd recommend doing it that way if you want happy employees. But I do know that people have made that transition between like running PTO from anniversary date to anniversary date too. It has to be used within a calendar year, or in this case, an ordinance year, basically.
yeah, 'cause
how do-
Sean's about to use some in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I mean, as it's written now,
Oh,
what does that mean?
As it is written now, I don't think it's an issue because the salary ordinance doesn't currently address it on its face. So we're just operating off of whatever the handbook policy is. So the handbook policy is currently you have PTO, you run it from anniversary year to anniversary year. So you're going to use whatever time you're going to take, and that just comes off of what you've got for this year presently.
Okay.
So if anniversary year
Mhm.
is from October to October, let's say,
Mhm.
that means October till the end of the year, you're not even allowed to have vacation. So you've only got 9 or 10 months to use your vacation, not the whole year.
That if we added the change to the salary ordinance that we had previously talked about, yes, that's what that would mean.
So to simplify it, why wouldn't you go January 1 to January 1 or December 31st?
That's what I want to do. Is I want to make all if it were me and I were calling the shots, I would do away, and you wanted everyone to use their PTO within basically the date range of the salary ordinance, I would do away with the anniversary reset of the PTO, basically.
Yeah.
I would just have all of your PTO. You get your PTO, or you start accruing your PTO, however it works out, as of the start date of the ordinance. So call it January 1 for easy math. And then you would accrue based on either however many hours you work, or you get your 10 days at the start of the year, whatever that looks like. You can then, if you submit the proper documentation, roll over some, if that still is what we have in the handbook and that's still all okay. And that would just kind of tack on to next year's time that you get as of January 1. Does that make sense?
So if you start out with, because I think it's every 5 years, is it, Chad?
First year you get 3 weeks. 10 years you get 4 weeks. 15 you max out at 5. But we don't have any sick days.
So it wouldn't be
PTO is
Yeah, that's
is
everything.
it.
so every year would your 6 through 9 wouldn't
Mhm.
matter, or your 11 through
you know,
14.
the issue becomes on the year that you're supposed to get an extra week.
Yeah.
When
do you
when
get
do you
it?
get the extra week?
Yeah.
Do you just simplify it and say, this is your year, whether you started in October or you started in January?
That's great for you
You're
because
getting it.
when you start
in
November,
Yeah.
you get it almost a year ahead of time.
Well, he's actually just passed it, so he actually.
Oh, he already passed
just
his
got it.
10
Last
years.
November, I got 10 years. So the
Oh,
way I understand, January 1, that's when that extra week would be added.
right on.
Yeah.
So he does have an extra week this year,
And then in
which I told you when I told you how many hours to put in, that was with the extra week.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you.
So in 5 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
5 years, the November
Mm-hmm.
would be 31. So that's the 5 years. So in 26, I got my 10.
Mm-hmm.
31,
Yeah.
but it would be
It's basically
be
start
that
January.
January 1, which would be 32 then? Is that how?
Now, under this, if she wrote it to just say that anniversary year, you'd probably actually get it 10 months early.
That's what I said. That's what my point was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get your extra.
If they
Week or
write
two,
it the
year.
way
Except you only
she's
get it.
talking, which I have no.
Yeah.
I have no-
I
It's gotta
it
be
doesn't matter.
15
I'm
though.
maxed out,
He's
so
only
it doesn't
getting
matter to
I
me.
wouldn't
So
even reach my 15 years then.
you would.
Yeah.
It would be the year that you're gonna hit 15.
Yeah.
You would get it.
But according to the rules we
You
have,
get
the
it
handbook,
after.
it's you got to meet that criteria. You got to meet 15 years before you get your next week.
So yeah, it's not gonna help you now, but it would help you when you hit your 15.
The other
If
thing
it's-
you could do is you could, like let's use this example where you're set to hit your 15 years in November. You could give him that week prorated through the end of the calendar year, and then he would start with a whole new fresh week as of the start of year 16.
Of course, from a simplicity standpoint, now you're adding a little more complication.
Oh,
to it.
absolutely, I
We
am.
got to remember that now.
I am fine with at November's my 15 years, and then I know that the
Have
following
another week.
January
Okay.
I would get an extra week. But
Yeah.
I know like it falls in April. Well, you've got
Yeah.
8 months to wait instead of just 2 months to wait.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we
So-
need to
Yeah.
make it right now
Yeah.
instead of.
Well, and I think you guys would agree. Try to make it as simple as
Yes,
we
definitely.
possibly
Yes.
make it. So
No ambiguity.
Okay, Tim Eller's waiting on a call, by the way. So
Okay.
go ahead and tighten that up on how we're gonna do it.
So
Yeah.
we want to. So we probably just want to.
Forget the anniversary date, just January or
Just-
January.
Yeah, and so when he hits the year he's going to hit 15, he gets it back at the beginning of that year.
I will draft up a proposal of what I think that looks like, and then maybe we need to do like a meeting to next meeting. That way we can like talk through it and walk through examples, because I'm afraid it's going to get really confusing over email.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to call Tim.
Okay.
I'll let you write.
Okay.
First, because you're gonna be the one talking to him about what you've learned from the annex building.
There's no prorating. You don't need to prorate anything.
Logan's board number.
Well, so
Hey Tim, it's Brooke Meeks.
Yep.
We're here at the town board meeting. So this is probably millions watching on YouTube, so just letting you know that. Little disclaimer. But the attorney's here. She wants to ask you a few questions or a question or two, and kind of let you know what she found out at the annex building when she went to was it the recorder? Or
Recorder and the surveyor.
Okay, recorder and surveyor. Surveyors trying to get the stop sign we're trying to get that you already know about. Oh, by the cemetery. Okay. Yeah, here she is.
Hey Tim, so to kind of catch you up on where I've been, what I'm attempting to do, we had an easement drafted where the county was going to grant us access to put in a stop sign within their right of way. But it got rejected by the recorder, partially because the recorder by state statute requires that there be some cross-reference number establishing who owns the property that we're granting the easement over. For right-of-ways, particularly for county right-of-ways, there is no record indexing or anything like that would show that. So that then led us down the rabbit hole of trying to establish the prior deed or plat for the cemetery, which unfortunately yielded nothing. And I truly mean nothing. So I'm asking and I'm curious, do you happen to know or have access to the prior plat or the prior deed from basically when the land would have been given to the cemetery association to start the whole thing?
Well, that land was given in, I think, 3 or 4 different portions.
Okay.
Part of it was through the Grays.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember right, I think there was a Skiles that deeded the original piece. But you're talking 1860.
Mm-hmm.
And a while ago, when Brooke was doing this, texting a little bit, every lot out there has an owner.
Mm-hmm.
Every lot has an owner. So now whether the people have taken that to the courthouse and had it recorded, that I can't answer.
Right.
I know the majority probably haven't. So if you try to look on GPS or whatever, you're gonna see that all the main roughly 11 acres, the original, what I call the original,
Mm-hmm.
is individual plots. Then the part that we bought up in the east end, which I think was about 7 or 8 acres,
Mm-hmm.
it is titled to the association.
Mm-hmm. So
But the association operates a little bit like an HOA. We look after, we take care of the charges and the expenses and like all that.
Mm-hmm. So what I was finding, at least as far as the county is going currently, they have no records of the of the individual lots. So from the county records perspective, it is just one big parcel. So we're needing to find out ownership of that one big parcel. So I guess as far as when you deed out or sell the individual lots to people, is that being sold via a deed of some sort? How is that being conveyed to individuals?
It's a deed and acts as a receipt also
Okay.
for whatever they buy. They can buy a partial lot, whole lot, whatever.
Who is the one that is deeding the property out? Is it the cemetery association?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of the association's duties. See, you're going back, I mean, years and years and years. Nothing has ever changed in that aspect. It's always been that way. I'm talking about the old guys that did it. That's what they passed on to me. So.
Mm-hmm. Do you happen to have a copy of one of those deeds that you could and or would share with me that I could look at?
Well, I can give you one that I print up, but they're all different. And the reason for that is because everybody's buying something a little different at a different time. So
Yeah.
we used to actually have a form printed, but I quit doing the forms for the sake of, okay, where's this location? Like some people are crossways of lots.
Mm-hmm.
They might have 2 spaces in one lot and 2 in another, as an example. So the way their old paperwork that they had pre-printed, it didn't allow you for a lot of this jumping around out there. So that's why I went to just a single application. In other words, let's say you wanted to buy 7th edition, lot 6, north half, or north half, space 4.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went that route. I could give you a copy of that, but
Yeah. If you would, that might be helpful, because then that just might give me what I'm searching for desperately is something that shows that the cemetery association owns particularly the piece of ground closest to the road. And I'm hopeful maybe one of those deeds would have something like that. I don't know, but it's
no,
they don't?
They won't.
Okay.
They'll only have the information of the lot that comes off of the map that they purchased.
And so we don't have anything for the overarching cemetery that gives that shows how the cemetery received the ground to thus then have the authority to deed out the individual lots.
No,
Okay.
see the original, like that original piece in 1860. The only reason I know that information, that there was a Skiles involved, and then later on is Graves.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article, a news article that had got clipped that was in some of the paperwork, but there's no original deed where they deeded that over to the cemetery.
Okay. Darn.
If there is, it was lost long ago.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Okay. All right. Well,
And in the east end, that part up there, see, when we bought that from Graves, that was deeded to the association, but you're
Yeah.
talking about not the original part.
right. No, unfortunately, I need the west part. Okay. That gives me the answer that I need. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
yeah, thanks.
Yep, bye.
Quick and dirty sounding. huh?
Yeah.
Say what?
Can we apply that to this thing?
I guess I don't.
I
Yeah.
unfortunately think you're onto something there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I will make a couple of adjustments. We will attempt the quick and dirty route. And we'll just see where we get with things. Again, who's going to complain about the stop sign? I can't imagine anyone, but just be officially advised and forewarned that that's not the appropriate way to do it, but hopefully it accomplishes our mission for the purposes of getting a stop sign put in.
Okay.
Okay, and lastly, I just have training in Plainfield on March 9th through the 12th. It's the ILMCT training, the clerk treasurer training I do each year. So
March when?
March 9th through the 12th.
Is that going to correspond with any of the meeting date?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Which we decided.
Sally.
Well,
What we decide? We're going to move it?
We also talked about moving it to the next week.
Don't be moving it to my spring break. I'm kidding. Sarah goes on spring break. I do fall. Yeah, we can move it to the next week.
Okay, does anybody have a problem with?
So it would be March. Let me get my calendar out.
17.
Yeah. Oh wait, something. That's St. Patrick's Day.
So.
I mean, let's.
You just have to wear
Get-
green to the meeting.
Nobody minds if I drink a green beer while I'm taking minutes. That's fine. So St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
I don't love it.
Okay.
I may or may not be here for that one, but I can send a replacement potentially if needed.
Well, you want to move it to the 24th to be safe?
No, that would be spring break, would it not?
Oh yeah, it would. Is that spring break or is the 17th?
I don't think.
I think-
I have to dig up the calendar.
I think the 6th. You know, Sean?
I was thinking,
What's-
19th is the last
Look-
day of school.
Lift that up and look at March and see if Sarah's got her vacation on there for spring break, second or third or fourth week. She didn't have it on there yet.
I could also, if I am out of town, could video conference in for something like that.
That would require IT
Last full week of
Huh?
March.
Okay, I'll FaceTime someone like that. Who's got an iPhone? Just put me on FaceTime.
Set me on the table.
So spring break's that next week. You're saying
Yeah, last
the
full week
the,
of
the
March.
23rd through the 27th
No, it starts like the 20th will be their first day.
Yes.
of spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that next week, 23rd.
The 20th is the Friday. Is
Well,
what it
what
says here.
about Tuesdays, not Fridays?
Yeah, well,
They
we're
go
talking
Friday
about
plus
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to? Oh, I thought you wanted to know if it started the 19th. Is
No,
when it started.
no.
So yeah,
I
the
w-
following would be. it'd
So
be
the
middle of
17th
spring
will
break.
be safe having a meeting. It won't be spring
Yes.
break. Okay.
And it's a 6?
So we leaving it at that? 17th?
Yep.
All right. Put it in minutes.
And you also had something down here about the water deposit.
Yeah, we talked about it. She thinks she already did it. She just got to send it to us, the ordinance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And we'll just start. I mean, once we see the ordinance, we'll start charging $300,
Okay.
and that will help out when people bail on their bill.
Okay. Okay.
So,
All right. Yes.
I got a question here. So I'm just kind of curious, like the whole vacation thing. The only reason I'm asking just to make sure we can all, because there's only 4 people in the town that receive vacation, and all of us are in here tonight. So I'm just wanting to nail down, like, kind of curious, like how it's all going to be worded, you know, or what you guys are kind of thinking on doing that, because Chad, Brooke, Ed, and I are the only ones that receive vacation in town.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of nice to all of us are in here to kind of input, or at least, you know some kind of of what we're thinking, or
so like if she's gonna write it up to be prorated, or if she's gonna write it up to be the calendar year of your.
yeah. So like Ed was saying, if your year falls in November, where you should get vacation, that's your anniversary date. He was thinking,
So let's just back it up a month. In October, you land on your 15th year in October. So you have, unless it gets approved by the board to carry that over, you have from October to December 31st to use that week, right? And then
Yeah.
come January, you get all of it again throughout the year.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the
that's
way.
right.
so there's no
Yeah.
prorating.
Yeah, I think that.
It would
That's the way
be-
it should
No.
be.
It's not prorating; it's just earning it on that date. That
Well,
extra
actually,
week.
the way she's going to write it, it'll be even earlier than that. You'll
Yes.
get it on the year that you're going to get your 10 years. You'll get it in January,
If-
not October.
If you
So-
guys are okay with that, which I think at that point, if you've got someone that's hitting, what did you say? It's got to be 5 years before they get
10.
additional-
You go from 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Okay, so at that point, I feel like you've probably done your time. You probably are gonna stay. Like
You don't quit in the middle.
yeah, I personally would be okay as an employer giving that extra week months early.
Yeah.
Some people get a little bit more preferential treatment than others, but
It's not like we got 1,000 employees. There are
exactly,
4 people
exactly, yeah.
that we're
you've
dealing
got-
with, so it's not a
and one of
big
them's
deal.
maxed out. He's not getting any more.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you're writing it up. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I'm planning on writing it
adjourn
up.
yet.
If everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, does anybody have anything else? If there's nothing, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I guess we're adjourned. Ta-da. Okay.